Well, howdy, folks. It is I, Curtis Selby, your tired midnight blogger. Well, blogs in this case at 5:41 p.m. I got home in time to maybe stream for just a little bit. For some reason, my thing is not playing, and I don't know why. There, I think I got it now.
Welcome to the channel, it's Curtis Selby's time. Breaking down the stories every view will unwind. From left to right, we'll see the light. It's balance, we're chasing, no fighters fight. Curtis Selby, talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis Selby's here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby, keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis Selby. The combos you need. The combos you need. Days out with the cheerful whistle and guitar riff. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby, keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis Selby. The convo's unique. Curtis Selby, talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis Selby's here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby, keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis Selby. The combos unique. The combos unique. The combos unique.
Well, I guess my Wi-Fi is moving slow. Hail and well met. It is I, Curtis Selby, your tired midnight blogger. Blogs at this time at 5:45 p.m. I have come to announce that I have accepted defeat. The logic of the opposition, the sheer weight of all of the hundreds, thousands of mistakes that are being made daily by the bad orange man have finally caused me to understand that indeed the Democrats are the ones in the right. I can't avoid the overwhelming logic anymore. Let's say hello to everyone in the chat, and then I'm going to start on my probably fairly short diatribe, but I am thinking about making this a standard staple if y'all like it well enough. And if you don't, I will probably seriously will give up on this anyway, if not, that. I won't give up entirely. I would like to welcome DJ Play Nice. Good evening and salute. Resolute Germ. Hello, hello. Essentially, for some reason, StreamYard wasn't playing the song on my end. So when I opened it up in YouTube, it was playing. So I don't know. I can't tell. Let's see. Resla Germ. Did this logic involve waterboarding? Yes, there was much waterboarding involved. I was being tortured by, they kept tying me up and putting turkey in front of me when I was hungry. And I just finally caved in. Also, I realized that my friend who said I was pandering to the right, he is absolutely correct. And so, birth, the donkey Panda, because panderer is just too hard to say. Let's get started here. I'm going to use leftist sources because they're the ones that are right, and we have to listen only to their side. I've been wrong all this time trying to get diverse viewpoints, listening to Joe Rogan and listening to Russell Brand and that church guy and that other guy and the other guy with the guy. It was just wrong. It was just foolish. I should have just shut up and listened to the state-run media like the sheep that I should have been. So here we go. We're going to go with AP Orange Man. I can't even bear to say his name anymore. Confronts South African leader with baseless, because I have to know what to think about these claims. And AP saying they're baseless, so they must be baseless claims of the systematic killing of white farmers. Let's see here. Well, I mean, of course, we've got a white guy here, so he's the bad guy. That's obvious. In fact, I don't even know that we need to read this, but I will. President Trump and South Africa's president exchanged tense words in the Oval Office today over Trump's baseless claims, because again, I have to be told how to think about it. Trump's baseless claims of the systematic killing of white farmers. At one point, Trump showed a video of white crosses, which he said memorialized white farmers who were killed. So Washington AP again, a centrist pillar source of integrity. There is absolutely no way they can be upset with Trump for him removing their USAID funding. This has to be objective. It has to be true. President Donald Trump used a White House meeting to forcefully confront South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. I'm probably butchering his name, and I really don't mean to. Accusing the country of failing to address Trump's baseless claims because, if they're baseless, of course they're going to fail to address the claims because they're baseless. Logically, QED. They failed to address Trump's baseless claims of the systematic killing of white farmers. I seem to recall when news agencies would say stuff like, apartheid really isn't all that bad. We believed them then back then. We should believe them now. Trump even dimmed the lights of the Oval Office to play a video of a far left politician chanting a song that includes the lyrics, "Kill the farmer." And it's okay for him to say that, but YouTube will probably ban me for saying that. He also leafed through news articles to underscore his point, saying the country's white farmers have faced death, horrible death. There's never been such death as there's been on this South Africa. All these killings of white people, there's so much death, it's even worse than January 6th. January 6th, as we all know, was the worst thing to ever happen since the Black Death. Even the Black Death was not as bad. And I'm making an executive order. We can no longer call it the Black Death. We're going to DEI the Black Death. We shall now call it the Death of the inconvenient white people who should have all died anyway. That will now be the name. Trump had already cut all U.S. assistance to South Africa and welcomed several dozen white South African farmers to the U.S. as refugees as he pressed the case that a genocide is underway in the country. The U.S. president, since his return to office, has launched a series of accusations at South Africa's black-led government, claiming it is seizing land from white farmers, enforcing anti-white policies, and pursuing an anti-American foreign policy. Experts in South Africa say there is no evidence of whites being targeted for their race, although farmers of all races are victims of violent home invasions in a country with a high crime rate. And that does sound somewhat reasonable. People are fleeing South Africa for their own safety, Trump said. Their land has been confiscated, and in many cases, they're being killed. Ramaphosa pushed back against Trump's accusations. The South African leader, he does look like the more pleasant guy here. I mean, just saying. Orange man bad, this guy's good. It's just that simple. Their land is being confiscated. Well, pooey on you, Trump. Oh, I said the name. I said it. I said it again. Oh, no. Ramaphosa pushed back against Trump's accusations. South African leader had sought to use the meeting to set the record straight and salvage his country's relationship with the United States. The bilateral relationship is at its lowest point since South Africa enforced its apartheid system of racial segregation, which ended in 1994. We're going to party like it's 1994. Anyway, it's going to be the biggest party ever. No one's ever going to see a bigger party than this one. It's going to be the best party that you ever saw. We are completely opposed to that, Ramaphosa said, of the behavior alleged by Trump in their exchange. He added, that is not government policy. And our government policy is completely against what he is saying. Trump was unmoved. When they take the land, they kill the white farmer, he said. Trump appeared prepared to confront Ramaphosa at the start of the meeting while journalists were present. Videos were queued up on a large TV set to show a clip of an opposition party leader, Julius Malema, leading an old anti-apartheid song. The song has been contentious for years in the country because of its central lyrics. Kill the Boer and shoot the Boer. That is not a pig. That's a word that refers to a white farmer. Malema, featured in the video, is not part of the country's governing coalition. Another clip played showed white crosses on the side of a road, described as a memorial for white farmers who were killed. Ramaphosa seemed baffled. I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. Trump kicked off the meeting by describing the South African president as a truly respected man in many, many circles, and in some circles he's considered a little controversial. Ramaphosa chimed in, playfully jabbing back at a U.S. president who is no stranger to controversy. We're all like that, Ramaphosa said. Trump issued an executive order in February cutting all funding to South Africa over some of its domestic and foreign policies. The order criticized the South African government on multiple fronts, saying it is pursuing anti-white policies at home and supporting bad actors in the world like the Palestinian militant group Hamas and Iran. Trump has falsely accused the South African government of rights violations against white Afrikaner farmers by seizing their land through a new expropriation law. No land has been seized. I'm glad that they gave us receipts on that. They just said it, so it has to be true. No land has been seized, and the South African government has pushed back, saying U.S. criticism is driven by misinformation. Of course it is. The Trump administration's references to the Afrikaner people, who are descendants of Dutch and other European settlers, have also elevated previous claims made by Trump's South African-born advisor, Elon Musk. Boo! And some conservative U.S. commentators that the South African government is allowing attacks on white farmers in what amounts to a genocide. The administration's concern about South African policies cut even deeper than the concerns about white farmers. Look at me, I'm an angry orange man. I am the villain. Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to donate. I just want to be a freeloader. President Donald Trump speaks as he meets with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. It's a fun name to say, even though I know I'm saying it wrong, probably. In the Oval Office of the White House, Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, in Washington. South Africa has also angered Trump over its move to bring charges at the International Court of Justice, accusing Israel of committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. Oh boy, there's going to be people all torn up over that on both sides. Ramaphosa has also faced scrutiny in Washington for his past connections to MTN Group. What is that? Iran's second largest telecom provider. Telecom terrorists, the worst kind of terrorists. It owns nearly half of Iran's Cell, a joint venture linked with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Ramaphosa served as board chair of MTN from 2002 to 2013. Ramaphosa came into the meeting looking to avoid the sort of contentious engagement that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky experienced during his February Oval Office visit, when the Ukrainian leader found himself being berated by Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. That disastrous meeting ended with White House officials asking Zelensky and his delegation to leave the White House grounds. The South African president's delegation included golfers Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, not to be confused with the Maltese Gooseo, who we all know is one of their great mascots. A gesture to the golf-obsessed U.S. president. Ramaphosa brought Trump a massive book about South Africa's golf courses. He even told Trump that he's been working on his golf game, seeming to angle for an invitation to the links with the president. Here we have the official TIE fighter of the Trump administration. Command your empire, be Orange Man. Orange Man bad. Luxury goods tycoon and Afrikaner Johan Rupert was also in the delegation to help ease Trump's concerns that land was being seized from white farmers. And here we have, because we didn't read the one up at the top, we don't know who these people are. We have short-term disability of memory. President Donald Trump meets South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in the Oval Office at the White House. I did not know that was the White House. I thought that was Pittsburgh. I'm so glad they explained all of this. At one point, Ramaphosa called on Zingizwa Lozi, the president of a group of South African trade unions, who told Trump it is true that South Africa is a violent nation for a number of reasons. But she told him it was important to understand that black men and women in rural areas are also being targeted in heinous crimes. So, it's okay because everybody's getting killed. That makes it okay. The problem in South Africa, it's not necessarily about race, but it's about crime. And I don't doubt that that's true. All right. Sorry about this. My phone is telling me that it is time for the espionage. We are here to say, how do we, both nations, work together to reset, to really talk about investment, but also help to really address the levels of crime we have in our country. And that seems to be a reasonable thing to say. Musk also attended Wednesday's talks. He has been at the forefront of the criticism of his homeland, casting its affirmative action laws as racist against whites. Musk, who is, as we all know, a national socialist, he has said on social media that his Starlink satellite internet services isn't able to get a license to operate in South Africa because he is not black. South African authorities say Starlink hasn't formally applied. It can, but it would be bound by affirmative action laws in the communications sector that require foreign companies to allow 30% of their South African subsidiaries to be owned by shareholders who are black or from other racial groups disadvantaged under apartheid. Tell me what you think about that. Does that sound discriminatory, or does that just sound like justice? Please let me know in the comments. The South African government says its long-standing affirmative action laws are a cornerstone of its efforts to right the injustices of the white minority rule of apartheid, which denied opportunities to blacks and other racial groups. Following the contentious exchange in front of the cameras, Trump hosted Ramaphosa for lunch and further talks. Ramaphosa, speaking to reporters following his White House visit, downplayed Trump's criticism, adding he believes there's doubt and disbelief in Trump's head about his genocide charge. He insisted they did not dwell on Trump's concerns about white farmers in their private conversation. We wanted to see drama, or you wanted to see drama, and something really big happening, Ramaphosa told reporters following his White House visit, and I'm sorry that we disappointed you somewhat when it comes to that. So it sounds like he did handle it well, whether Trump is in the right or in the wrong. But we know that this is all true, and we know that the way we need to interpret it is orange man bad, everyone else is good. Just remember that. That's what it is. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Resolute Germ, the South African president, didn't even deny it was happening. Nope. No, he did not. And Kaplaw, Helen Wilmette, Gorilla Censor Thoughts. Thank you very much for being here. I'm going to try to keep this one short. This is my inaugural episode of The Donkey Panda, where I admit defeat. I admit that the Democrats are right. I am wrong. And basically everything that the AP and CNN and MSNBC and MOUSC tells us, all of it's true. And we should just shut up and believe it and should quit questioning. So, Whiskey Flats, Garden Railroad, Helen Wilmette. January 6th is the Devil's Day. It is indeed the worst day. The worst day. We learned this on Babylon B. The worst day since the Black Plague. DJ Play Nice, Inconvenient Caucasians. There's a lot of those. We need fewer inconvenient Caucasians. Jeff B. Hail and well met. Can't stay long. Gave you a thumbs up. Thank you very much. You're very kind. Very kind, Jeff B. 18,000 Haitians under an overpass in Texas is fine. But 59 from South Africa is a no. Yes. Now you are seeing, Jeff B. Trump is bad for allowing 59 South African white people in. Exactly. And the things that these 59 South Africans are saying are obvious lies. And we know they are obvious lies for two reasons. One, the AP, which we all know, is all about truth, honesty, and the communist way. But also, we know because there's no way that they would leave that country and be grateful and loving to ours if they were being oppressed. We know that oppressed people come here and complain about bad room service, create crimes, sell fentanyl, and then after getting married and beating their wives, they go as martyrs back to the prisons of the terrible third world countries that they come from. This is absolutely the opposite of what's going on in South Africa, and we all know it. Resolute Germ, why do we give countries like South Africa equal standing in the U.S.? If you ain't Russia, China, or America, your opinion doesn't really matter. Well, I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but yes, I think you have a point, Resolute Germ. What is South Africa going to do? I mean, maybe they should just quit killing. Let's assume that it's true that it's an equal opportunity killing. That's blacks and whites. I'm quite willing to believe that that's the case. That means that we should just let it keep going on. That means that we should just keep bending over and giving them all the foreign aid they want. No, Now, if they do want help, I mean, seriously do want help with their crime, okay, maybe we could talk about doing some things to help them curtail their crime. But if it's equal opportunity killing, it also needs to be equal opportunity justice. We've got to protect black, white, dog. Sorry, Cassie's over here getting scritches. Gorillas will have to double up, have a good stream, great topics, whiskey flats. Of course, Trump is wrong. Agreed. Finally, whiskey flats, something we can both agree on because we argue all the time. Trump is wrong, and that is the absolute mission of the donkey panda, to let you know Trump is wrong. Greetings to all. Resolute Germ says, going to have to change that name. I keep picturing a blankety blank hybrid between a jackass and a panda bear. Well, I'm open to thoughts. Blame it on Whiskey Flats. He wanted me to call it the Donkey Panderer. I just thought that was too hard to say. Donkey Panderer. It's like my truck didn't used to want to start. Panderer. It wouldn't start up. So anyway, I've also decided that in my abject surrender to all things liberal and Democrat, that I should salute, listen to, embrace, agree with the Alex Jones of the left. I won't even name his name. His face is punchable enough. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Oh, well, what a shame. Trump blows up in presser with South Africa Prez. That's why this guy has 4.84 million subscribers, when he has that punchable face, whereas I have my paltry 730 for his millions, because, reference back to the punchable face. Okay. Let's see what this bright, chipper lad has to say about the issue.
Disaster. Donald
Disaster! It's a disaster! And I believe him because he says it. He says it's a disaster. It must be a disaster. It's the biggest disaster it's ever been. There's never been a bigger disaster. Only I could have a disaster like that.
Mafusa in the Oval Office today. This thing went sideways really quick. Watch as the president of South Africa tells Donald Trump that, unlike Qatar, he Donald Trump a gold-plated private. Here, play this clip.
That idiot talks about, after viewing it, thousands of people to give you. I wish. Okay. I would take it. If your country offered the United States for
Trouble connecting. All right. Are you guys there? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you're still there. Are you there? Howdy, 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 howdy. Testing, testing. All right. You either can't hear me or you're so enthralled at Orange Man's orange face. Okay, okay, now it's back. Okay, I had to shut down a tab or two. All righty, all righty. Let's skip ahead just a little bit. Trump blows up in presser. All right, I'm impressed. Let's skip ahead a little bit more. Here we go. Let's see how MT humiliates Trump, and deservedly so, right here.
White South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently.
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
Well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter.
And then there's more of Donald Trump blowing up at and attacking an NBC reporter and calling the NBC reporter a jerk. Like you can see Trump's face turn like bright orange as well. Here, play this clip.
Talk about it.
And there's no possible way that that's MT doctoring that image whatsoever. No way. No, wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen. It's all factual.
And I didn't know we'd get involved here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that.
So then the reporters keep asking Donald Trump, and you have international reporters there, reporters from South Africa and others saying to Donald Trump, what will it take to convince you that there is not a genocide against white Afrikaners and white farmers in South Africa? I mean, you literally have the white agriculture minister who's not from President Ramaphosa's party here saying that there isn't one. What's it going to take? Here, play this clip.
It never changes.
Mr. President, this time, what will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him in.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
President,
So then Donald Trump.
What was so bad about that answer? Will you guys please explain to me? Oh, wait, no, I'm the donkey panderer. That was a disgraceful answer. That answer just makes me ashamed to be an American. There was nothing clever, funny, or witty about it at all. This MT guy, he's just got it all together correct. Orange man bad. We're all bad for voting for him. We should just go to South Africa and let them shoot us. Resolute German, if Trump goes to South Africa, it will be a territory by the end of the trip. Yeah, well, you know, let's do that. In fact, let's make let's give Canada a pass. They don't want to be a 51st state, so let's make South Africa our 51st state. And then whoever's doing killing, we can just go in and stop it. And of course, there'll be some mistakes, like with the ICE raids and stuff like that. But you know, we're going to ignore the thousands of people who are no longer being murdered. We're going to focus on the handful of people who had legitimate fears because they really weren't part of what was going on. South Africa for the 51. Just look at this guy. I wish I looked like him. He kind of, no, I'm not going to say that. He looks like someone we went to college with, Whiskey Flats, but I'm being unfair to that guy because this guy is just total. I really do think of him as the less entertaining Alex Jones of the left. Let's skip ahead.
here. Watch this.
Now, this
Let's
is
watch this, shall we? Let's shall.
very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites, over 1,000 of white farmers, and those.
Have any of you seen that? Has anybody seen that? Because I have. It's not being reported on. Resolute Germ, make imperialism great again. Whiskey Flats, he smiles without showing any teeth. Here, I do mean to make this one fairly short, but let me go to my bookmarks. I found out about this on Twitter. Now, as we all know, Twitter has been completely and absolutely disgraced and debunked, and everybody knows that everything that comes out of Twitter, like this one, this was a lie. Let me present this one. I think I shared this one on my last pointless and partisan things that Curtis is sharing on Twitter. This was actually mistaken, but unlike other fact checkers, this one actually at least explained why it's quote unquote a lie. Bernie Sanders was not arrested for throwing eggs at black protesters. He was one of the protesters and was arrested for resisting arrest. So there are incorrect things on Twitter. You do have to be careful. But I've been seeing it for months, and hopefully, oh well, goodness. Scarlett Johansson on the quieting of Hollywood's resistance to Donald Trump. It's all these big tech guys are funding our industry, funding the Oscars, and there you go. Nerdrotic responded with, "You just told on yourself." I should have prepared this before. Maybe I haven't bookmarked as many of them as I thought I did. Let's see here. Here we go. The Kiffness. The Kiffness is famous for making a song out of Donald Trump's meme. They're eating the dogs. Woof, 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 woof. They're eating the cats. Meow, 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 meow. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. The Kiffness was the brilliant person that made this song. Donald Trump should be like the left and nail him for copyright, but evidently Trump's got enough billions and lets this guy make money off of the parody. The world needs to know the truth about South Africa. Race laws are racist. They need to end for everyone's sake. Too many of my friends have left South Africa simply because they can't get a job due to their skin being the wrong pigment. It's nuts. Here is what he posted and shared of Elon Musk, who is the great Satan.
Not otherwise. And
Let me know if you can hear it.
It's a situation where I was born in South Africa, but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks
Does
like
that
that's
seem
about.
right
Look,
to
it
you?
looks
Does
like
seem
that.
right to you?
Looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to
Does that seem
bring.
right to you? Yes or no?
Those rules were designed to bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
I asked you a question. Yes or no?
Not for
Racist
me.
laws, yes or no?
Not for me to answer. I have got a question for you about your government
must
work
like
though and the
racist laws
amount of
then.
savings.
Why do you like racist laws?
This is not for me to answer. Come on.
Yes, it is.
Now, you wouldn't be trying to dodge a question.
So you have to
That
ask the
is difficult
question.
for
I
you
answered
to
my
answer.
question. No, you answer. Not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa, but cannot get a license.
Anyway, maybe Elon Musk is full of crap, but I do believe the Kiffness. He's I don't remember if he said anything about people being killed, but he does talk about that there is racism going on the other way. And personally, I feel like racism just going the other way does not solve racism. This is what I have against DEI. If you want to just enforce the laws that were on the books from the 60s that were put there because of the bravery of Martin Luther King, hell to the yes. Let's enforce those laws. Let's make sure that if someone is discriminating, and especially, yes, against blacks or Hispanics or women, absolutely nail them to the wall. But when you start saying, well, because you're white, you can't go to this hospital. And yes, I know of an instance of that happening. You're white, so you can't get this grant. You're white, so you can't get this. All that is doing to us what happened to them. The reason that this is unjust is the same reason it was unjust for the black. I mean, am I wrong? Let me know in the chat if you think I'm wrong. Also, Critically Thinking and Drinking shared this one. I think we may have already heard this.
But we are starting with this whiteness. You are cutting the throat of whiteness. Shoot, kill, Gamanza, kill the Pua, the Farmer, kill the Pua, the Farmer. Pa, pa, pa. Shoot to kill, Gamanza, kill. But we are starting with this white.
Trump making these South African racist POSs sit through the calling for white genocide is exactly what I voted for. That, according to Critically Thinking of Drink and Drinking. The Kiffness, we are witnessing history in the White House. South Africa won't be the same after this. And I hope not. I hope it gets better. Because again, I'm willing to accept that there probably is, if there's high crime, it's probably both races suffering. And it should just simply stop. Resolute Germ, they didn't give him a workaround. Elon would have to sell a third of his company. Yeah, that's what we just read. And to me, I'm sorry, that's unreasonable. Even making him sell a tenth of it. Well, he's a big bad white guy and this and that. What? It would be the same thing as if America were to make a law and say, well, you're black, so you have to sell 30% of your company and give it to the KKK. Am I wrong? Let me know. Let me know. Because I could be, and, you know, while I am exaggerating and pandering, I'm trying to do it in a halfway honest way. Let's skip ahead a little bit more. We see the, I know I have this bookmarked in Twitter, all these graves, but I can't find it. So we'll skip on. Let's see what this lovely, wonderful MT person says about it. I'm sure it will be honest, forthright, and absolutely what we need to hear. Ramaphosa. Sorry, it's Ramaphosa. So Trump's making a face at that. Why do you think that is? It's because he's bad. It's because he's a horrible human being. It's because, you know, he's just determined to be right, and nothing that we do or say is going to change his mind. Or is it maybe something else? And I'm not trying to criticize President Ramaphosa's statements here. They actually do seem pretty reasonable, and I'm not going to beat up MT for liking what the Ramaphosa is saying, but I will beat up MT for other things. I've decided that's going to be part of my Donkey Panda is letting you know just what I think about MT. Okay, that's why he's making a face. And okay, granted, maybe I have no idea what percentage of it is, but maybe a certain percentage of all these thousands of stories are false. But at what point do you start saying, hey, I'm getting thousands of stories, like the forceful sexualization of girls in Britain? How many thousands of stories do you have to hear before you start deciding, well, maybe we should do something about it? Dead air, of course. Dead air. Lovely. What else can I close down? I'll close that down. And is that letting me? Can you hear me now? If you can hear me now, this is going to be the greatest part of me. Ooh, no, please don't give me a strike. Okay, now I'm back. Okay. YouTube, it does interesting things. All righty. So anyway, Trump says we've got thousands of reports. What else does he say? Oh no! It's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everything said from this point on is going to be fake news. Because that makes him bad. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the devil. She's the devil, I tell you. It has nothing to do with anything like, you know, malreporting. She's just bad. The Twitter is dead air. Okay, but you can hear the. Can you hear the YouTube? Please let me know if you can hear the YouTube. You probably can't because I'm sharing the wrong page. Sorry. This is what happens when you get out of practice. My apologies for taking so long to get back to streaming. I actually got home in a fairly timely phase today. Okay. Anyway, I won't make you listen to it, but the President Oppenheimer, whatever his name is, he made some pretty good points about, you know, if there's Afrikaners, white Afrikaners are dying, why aren't the white Afrikaners in the government doing something about it? My response being, there are white people in Britain dying, and the white government is doing nothing. So why would we expect a black government to do anything? Maybe I'm being unfair, but
See the articles, please, if you would, and turn the lights down.
So then you have Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend is in the Oval Office, and he's one of the people who asked these questions. Remember, he was the guy who attacked Zelensky and said, why aren't you wearing a suit, is what Glenn said. So here Brian Glenn asked this ridiculous question, but then President Ramaphosa of South Africa says, why don't I Why don't I direct this question to the agriculture minister, who's white, who's here? He'll
You got him, MT. You completely destroyed all of Trump's points. All of them.
answer this question. He's from the opposition. He's part of my cabinet. Here.
And don't get me wrong, it is a good point, but he has, again, he's not dealing with the question that there's stuff like this going on in several countries throughout the world, and white governments, I don't mean to be racist, but they're not protecting whites. Why is it not possible that it's going on in South Africa? What is it that makes it that it is inherently not possible? I will accept what that one lady said, that it's happening to both races. And I did point that out in my talk about Britain. It's not about the race of the girls. I don't doubt that there's black girls and Chinese girls. I don't doubt that all the races are suffering in Britain. What the point is why do they have to? And two, why is the government doing nothing? Why is King Charles basically bending over and telling them to do whatever they want?
Let him answer the question. Watch this clip.
Numbers of people that want to leave South Africa because they feel they're going to be dead very soon. Yes, please.
I was going to say something.
Brian, go.
If I could ask you a question. 72% of farmers in your country are white. If they flee, do you feel that maybe the economy could collapse? You may not have a gap to fill in those people that need to replace those farmers.
You know, I'd like my Minister of Agriculture, who is white, who comes from an opposition party to mine, who's joined my government at my invitation to address this very issue, including the question that you've just raised. John?
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Mr. President, thank you for welcoming us to the White House. I would say we have a rural safety problem in South Africa. I don't think anyone wants to candy coat that. And it requires a lot of effort to get on top of it. It's going to require more policing resources. It's going to require different strategy to be able to deal with it. But certainly the majority of South Africa's commercial and smallholder farmers really do want to stay in South Africa and make it work. And I've just come from the largest agricultural show in the Southern Hemisphere with organized agriculture and farmers, and the majority of them want to stay. But they too, they have a memorial to those who've died as a result of farm attacks. And
okay, he just confessed right there. He just confessed it. MT is here basically trying to tell us this thing doesn't really exist. This memorial is a big freaking lie. The white Afrikaner just confessed that there really is a memorial, that it's a real thing. The black one said he had never seen it, didn't know anything about it. The white one said, yeah, it's there. What are we supposed to do with that? Let us... Audio is playing. He also isn't an Afrikaner. He's European. I wondered about that, Resolute Germ. I wondered about that. Kind of like Canada, their prime minister now is actually a British blankety blank. Okay, I am going to let this go. I'm not saying that I've completely debunked everything that MT says, but my personal take is he is a legitimate source of information. He needs to be listened to with respect. And everything that MT says, especially the stuff that he talks about Melania Trump needing to leave Trump, all of that is true, appropriate, and fair game to be tossing about in political discussion. How much time have we got? You know what? As much fun as I'm having, I also want to go to Connie Cleary's movies and let you guys go to another stream. So let us do some other pointless and partisan things that I've found on Twitter for just a few minutes, and then I will thank you all and call it a stream. This is the channel where I'll have to do this stuff. The other one I'll have to play nice, as kind of irritating as it is. Okay. This is where I shall start. Not all of this is necessarily political. Big Al, hello. I hope you are having a good day. This is a wonderful creator you need to check out. He does the 10-word review. He actually does good reviews in 10 words or less, whereas I do like 15-minute things and YouTube pulls them down. Anyway, so yes, thank you very much for being here, Big Al. Since you're here, I'll try to make this stuff pleasant and non-political, even though the segment is called Pointless and Political Things that Curtis has found on Twitter. Here you can see this dog. Okay, I got to get that sound off or there will be a strike. It's just a dog. Trains with Special Forces. He's really cool. I like him. Look at that dog. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You got to love that dog. Rand Paul. Somebody's been like turning people into babies. The best baby AI video yet. Ron Paul. Let me know if you can hear that. I said I would keep it unpolitical. Sorry about that, Big Al. So to make up for that, I will instead quote Pope Leo XIV. Christ's peace is not the silence of the tomb after a conflict. It is not the result of a subjugation. Peace is a gift that gazes at others and renews their lives. Let us pray for this peace, which is reconciliation, forgiveness, and courage to turn the page and start again. Again, I'll just skip the political stuff in honor of Big Al. I want to sucker the poor guy into staying here for another 5 minutes. Even though this is a political site, this is not a political share. My friend got a degree in Egyptology but can't get a job, so he's paying more money to get a PhD so he can work teaching other people Egyptology. In his case, college is literally a pyramid scheme. Ba-dum-bum. Here we go. Photographer Debbie Parker captures lightning strike in West Virginia. We'll skip the political ones. Rob Schneider. Go laugh in places you cried. Go win in places you lost. Rewrite your story. Juanita Broderick. Yes, I know she's kind of political, but this one is not. The tape is here. No, just kidding. It's here. Ha ha ha. I'm here. Yeah, this is exactly what I go through when I try to unroll tape. Yeah, this, I won't talk about it, but this is another one. Remember the Boers who didn't make it to safety. Saint Mary Joseph. There's a beauty in being rejected, misunderstood, unseen, and unsupported by people. It teaches you to rely on God for everything. Here we have Billy Idol, Rock the Cradle of Love. Hi, Charlotte, North Carolina. Special night for me, as my son Brant is here with his wife Teresa. He looks better than his son. Holy cow. And my granddaughter, Mackenzie, nearly 5 years old. Mason, my grandson, who's going to be 3 on July 6th, my dad's birthday. Say hi if you see them. Let's rock. LDG Free the Net. You wonder why we're implementing users with their terms and conditions. I would play this, but anyway, go check out LDG Free the Net. He's got cool stuff going on, and I think he was right on this video. Maria with Tea and Telly. Oldie but goodie. Have a fabulous cat day. Be weird today. Beware the dog, but beware the cat too. He's kind of weird. I'll skip that one. Pope Leo XIV. Those who bear witness to social commitment, popular movements, and various Catholic workers' organizations are all an expression of those existential peripheries where hope endures and springs anew. I urge you to give voice to the poor. I wish I could play this one, but I would definitely get a copyright strike. Johnny Cash's grandson singing Folsom Prison Blues. It's beautiful. Skip that. This was the horror. I hope this one doesn't count as political. Horror is the Mexican Navy trainee dangles from the mast of a crashed ship. This was shared by Fletcher Williams. Says he sucks at games, but I'll bet he's better at them than I am. We pray for the Mexican Navy. This was a terrible thing that happened. And it was blamed on Orange Man. I have no idea why it was Orange Man's fault. Not by Fletcher, but by the media. Fletcher's cool. Pope Leo XIV, I was chosen without any merit of my own. Now with fear and trembling, I come to you as a brother who desires to be the servant of your faith and joy, walking with you on the path of God's love, for he wants us all to be united in one family. Admiral Teague, thanks to Betty Hepburn for swinging that wrench last night. I'd rather just ignore the whole thing, but I have to acknowledge the gallantry. I'm very grateful, my friend. Critically thinking and drinking. I have many words to describe hitting the insane Twitter milestone of 50,000 followers. Amazing, cool, fun, thankful, unsurprising, fantastic, fabulous, kick-ass. But this is the main one. Cheers. He is grateful to everyone following him. Thanks for coming along for the ride. I'll skip that one. I'll skip that one. I'll skip that one and that one. Okay, here is a beautiful teacher who welcomes children with a beautiful welcome. She's just a Japanese teacher, or, well, actually, I don't know what nationality she is. But you know, here are her little kids coming in to dance. I just think it's beautiful. Good teachers are worth their weight in gold. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. Crap. I am full of crap. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. At the very least, I got to show you this teacher. But I'm not going to show the music. See, now you can see her. While she's dancing, I'll get caught up on the chat, maybe. Resolute Germ, yeah. It's only showing the avatar. Yeah, sorry, I was paying attention to the thing. Be as political as you want. Nah, I'll spare you this time. I was very political up until now. Yeah, Gorilla says I never did say if I needed a trampoline. Booger, what is the donkey panda? The donkey panda is the person that finally understands that he's been on the wrong side of everything and is listening to quote unquote reason and sharing all the reasons why he's a bad person. And I'm sorry, I finally did share the screen, I hope. He clearly piloted the ship into the bridge personally. Yes. Thank you, Booger. Now you are understanding. That is the point of the donkey panda. We all know it's a proven fact. Orange Man drove the ship into the bridge. I am going to share this one since Big Al said I could be political. AP does not stand for Associated Press. It stands for always propaganda. Newest members of family being hatched. These are some newborn birds. I'll skip this one. Justine Bateman, if you are a film fan and looking for something truly different today, watch my film Feel. Profound ideas, spoken, dynamic visuals, raw feeling, something new and different. Link to the film below. Well, in her tweet anyway. I'm going to go ahead and share this one. Brett Weinstein, who pretty much drove all the left-wingers out of my channel, which is weird because Brett is a classical liberal. Hey, Dan. He's responding to Dan Bongino. In fact, I'll read his first. Dan Bongino says, I haven't done any media interviews to this point because I want to keep the attention to the work. I don't work for myself anymore. I work for you. But it is important to relay to you what we're doing, and the media can be a tool for that. That's why we chose a long form, blah, 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 blah. I was asked about some of the details surrounding the Jeffrey Epstein case. I've reviewed the case. Jeffrey Epstein unalived himself. There's no evidence in the case file indicating otherwise. I'm not asking you to believe me or not. I'm telling you what exists and what doesn't. If new evidence surfaces, I'm happy to reevaluate. Brent Weinstein's response to that. Hey, Dan, nobody likes a guy who walks in off the internet to tell you how to do your job, but Epstein's FBI file seems like a really weird place to look for evidence of what may have happened. I mean, if he didn't unalive himself, that file is bound to be a crime scene all its own. And I think that's worth thinking about. Another one from Dan Bongino. Priceless observing some of the same apologists who misled America for years, who stood by while former Director Comey humiliated and embarrassed the FBI, commenting on rancor and partisanship. This is Ken Delaney, and he's responding to him. Leaving aside the truth or falsity of this post, the partisanship and rancor on display here is unprecedented in the modern history of FBI leadership. Of course, it's also unprecedented to have a deputy director who is a political appointee, not a career agent. Rand Paul, heartbroken to see the devastation across western Kentucky from the tornadoes that touched down, praying for the families who've lost loved ones and for all those beginning the long road to recovery. Pope Leo XIV, if we Christians and members of other religious traditions stand together, free from ideological and political conditioning, we can be effective in saying no to war and yes to peace, no to an economy that impoverishes people and the earth, and yes to integral development. The Kiffness, but if you do accidentally say, he's responding to Roman Kabanik, who's saying, men, do not under any circumstances introduce your wife as my current wife. Trust me on this. The Kiffness responds with, but if you do accidentally say this and she gets mad, just tell her to calm down or ask if that's that time of the month again and she'll forgive you. I'll skip that one. Fletcher Williams shared this one. ICE Denver. Denver sees 58% drop in homicides amid stricter immigration policies and crime crackdown. The source is thenationaldesk.com. And Fletcher Williams, well, what do we have here? And hopefully you can see it is Wells. An incredible and moving gesture by Pope Leo XIV. He broke protocol by instinct, took a few steps forward to meet the 84-year-old president of Ireland who walks with a cane. So instead of making the guy come to him, he went to him. And lastly of all, red pandas being cute as heck. I do hope you can see them. Please let me know if you can, because the red pandas are just adorable. Look at that. It's like God made a little cartoon character for us to just be in awe of. Sashi, the man from the future. Hail and well met. Coda's Fact Search, thank you for continuing always, sir. Thank you very much. I'm trying. I am trying. Booger says Dan used to have the other opinion, then he got a paycheck. Hey, it's not a bad point. With no disrespect meant, it's not a bad point. Dan looked at the file, discovered that things are not in the file, are not there. Yep. Coach Fact Search, I hope we're getting fit because you will need it soon. I am losing some weight, but I do need to do more. Sashi, the bowler's dad, fell down an elevator shaft onto some bullets and Mystery Men. Yes. Gorilla Such Thoughts. Oh, that didn't work. Just tell her she's acting like her mother. Coach Fact Search, are the red pandas edible? I think they do, and I too bet that they taste like chicken. All right, do I want to share? Yeah, what the heck. Meet the lovely Sherry's Silas, her little Pomsky. We're taking a stroll in Times Square. I just love dogs. Love dogs. I'm going to skip this one. I said I wasn't going to be political. David Glenn, I know exactly how he feels. That face. Just look at that cat. That's how I feel about every third or fourth day, especially in the mornings. And especially when the news sends me stuff that I know is a bunch of BS. Coda's Fact Search, I knew there's a reason why I like you. He loves dogs too, much better than most humans. And let's see. Oh, Inspiration TV, PJ with Orville Nation shared this one. Hey, everybody, this is important. Please retweet. Our friend James Rickhart, Man's Hands from Seinfeld TV, just lost his mom. He had been caring for her for the past year or so. So they're asking for prayers, and there is a GoFundMe on that page. If I was smart, I would actually put that in the chat or something. I'm not smart enough, I guess. Sorry. A group of lemurs is called the Conspiracy. What in the world are they doing? It's like they're doing yoga or something. I don't know. If you guys know what these lemurs are up to, let me know. They look like quasi-sapient Cassies. Yeah, that especially looked like a Cassie moment. Coda's Fact Search, Mini Spaniel, Terrier, Pit Bull, and Cane Corso. All smarter and way more fun than every politician combined. I would agree with that. Cassie is, I may talk some pro-Trump things, but I would take Cassie over Trump any day. Any day. Look at that. Okay, I'll skip on up. I'll skip that. Although okay, no, I won't skip this one. She can't be serious. I'm not going to play it. I don't want the copyright strike, but Whoopi Goldberg, if you in the media knew something was off about Biden, when did you know and why didn't you tell us? Sadie here says, hello, we told you. You called us horrible people for making fun of his stutter. That one, I guess I'll skip that one. Cat Turd shared, rock legend Pete Townsend of The Who says Bruce Springsteen ruined everyone's night when he brought politics to the stage. He's a bit overrated to begin with. He's the kind of bloke who should just shut up and play. And then I've already played this one. You were loved, George Wendt. Rest in peace. Norm! He passed away at, I want to say, the age of 76. A father is getting backlash. I'll play it, but maybe I won't. I guess it's just a picture. He's getting backlash for rescuing his 9-year-old daughter from her flooded school in Western Port, Maryland on Tuesday. Rescuers were unable to get to all the children to safety in a timely manner. So while they were taking the kids out slowly, he went in and got his daughter before the building could collapse or be washed away. Some are saying he risked both of their lives as the flood could have turned deadly for both. Others say he's the father of the year. I know it's hard to see this, but he's basically walking in chest-deep water. Looks like. That or he's crawling, but he's got his daughter on his back. I think he took a calculated risk that worked out in his favor. I would have went in and got my daughters, and not 100 men would have stopped me. Well done, Dad. And there's, again, Adrienne Curry, Whoopi Goldberg statement. Are you serious? Beep off all the way. So, gonna call it a stream. But I'll catch up on the chat first. John Potorero, which I did not say hello to because I'm discombobulated. Howdy. Thank you so much for your links and your prayers and all that stuff. The lemurs are summoning demons. Cassie is so cool. I would agree. She's about the coolest thing in my life. Codes Fact Search, we have ring-tailed cats in Arizona look like those lemurs. Sashi, if you want to look for an animal with my facial expression, look up images of a Tibetan fox. Okay, let's do that before we leave. Before we leave, we will look up a Tibetan fox. I will share this time. I would be embarrassed, but I'm too dang tired to be embarrassed. Ooh, oh, let us present. We present Sashi. He's the nonplussed guy. I like it. I like it. We love you, Sashi. Indeed, he's a good dad. Screw internet comments. Yeah. Love you and ciao. Why is your picture the purrs of China and the Democratic Party? Well, I'm being sarcastic. This is my parody of saying that YouTube shadow banning me has caused me to realize that the mainstream media is altogether right. I am altogether wrong. So I have become the donkey panderer because one of my friends said I was pandering for the Republicans. So to make it right, I now pander for the demon cats. Or do I? All right, let's call it a stream. Sorry, I got out of practice. I'm not doing it so well, but stuff. All right. I went a little longer than I meant to, but I'll still be in Connie's here in a bit. If you're over there already, John, let them know if you don't mind. DJ Play Nice, thank you very much for the kindness in the comments. Resliger, thank you for the kindness in comments. Check this gentleman out. He's got a spiffy channel, and I know he does Saturday morning cartoons. This Saturday, I will be ghosting, whatever, with him as we do a Saturday morning presentation of Fist of the North Star. If you're at all a fan of anime, you will be glad you saw it. And if you're not, well, show up anyway. We need a DEI audience. Gorilla Censor Thoughts, Kapla. Thank you very much for your presence and for letting me know that I was not sharing or presenting. God, I'm tired. Anyway, lame excuse. Check out this gentleman. He has wonderful stuff. He has the Cigar Lounge, where he and a group of spiffy people come together and talk about all kinds of things. Sometimes I join them when the weariness allows. And he's also the gentleman who came up with my intro, which I got to tell you, I think it's pretty darn good. Whiskey Flats, Garden Railroad, check out his site. He's been putting up images of his dogs, or not images, but videos of his dogs, and also of the toy trains that he is part of a club and makes, that doesn't make, but he buys and builds and has presentations of toy trains. They're actually pretty darn cool. Inconvenient Caucasians must go. Jeff B., hail and well met. Thank you very much for showing up and giving me a thumbs up. And also for letting us know, and true Donkey Panda style, 18,000 Haitians under an overpass in Texas, that's fine, but 59 from South Africa is bad, and it is indeed bad. Resolute Germ, why do we give countries like South Africa equal standing to the U.S.? I don't know if it was a great topic or not, but, there it is. Whiskey says that Kung Fu Panda on a donkey is spot on. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doo. I'm getting there. John Ponarero, thank you very much. One of my, him and Whiskey Flats are both among my paid Patreon members. I've been trying to actually provide them with some kind of value. I was torn between writing some more on the book and actually doing a stream, and I thought, you know what? It's been ages since I did a stream. I had a lot of technical issues, and then I also just kind of went crazy. Resolute Germ pointing out that the guy who admitted that the memorial to all the unalived Afrikaners, whether they're white or black, that's not the point. It doesn't even matter what their race is. There's thousands of people who have been murdered, and not much is being done about it. And Orange Man was bad enough to try to point it out because the mainstream media is completely ignoring it. But that makes him bad. Big Al Presents, hail and well met. Also, check out this gentleman. He's got the 10-word review, and he does some wonderful watch parties. We watched The Amazing Journey the other day. I had to wipe the drool off of my computer because Raquel Welch was pretty hot. Doobie doobie, doobie doo doo, doobie doo. What is Donkey Panda? Asks Booger. Donkey Panda is the admission that the Democrats, the demon rats, are right. I am altogether wrong. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Republicans are right. It doesn't necessarily mean that Orange Man is good. But he's not the demon that they try to sell you that he is. They want you to overreact with too much hate, too much fear, and then they've got you right where they want you. Someone who knows that actually better than I do. Code is Fact Search. Hail and well met. This gentleman, you also want to check out his channel. All you wrenches, feel free to share your channels in there. Anyone that's not subbed to each other, we need to sub to each other. I know that kind of sounded weird. Not in a Christian Grey kind of way. And Sashi, the man from the future, you can find his incredible Malaysian recipes on Mrs. Dadman Walking. I can't remember what is it, their Discord page? Anyway, it's there, and you can eat healthy and not be fat like me, but I am losing the weight slowly. Go to Fact Search. I'm doing it. I'm getting there. Doobie 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 doo. Scooby doobie doobie doo. All right. Great. DJ Play Nice. Enjoyed the program. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry for both the technical issues and also for having a massive brain fart. No, Codis Fact Search. The prez is a yellow bear in a red shirt. Y'all be safe. DJ Play Nice says, oh, y'all be safe. Have fun. Carry your guns. Oh, I said it, YouTube. Oh, no. Oh, no, I said the word. Me. And rock. And hail and well met, Tim. Some there are who call him Tim. Yes, I'm sadly at the end of the episode. This is the Donkey Panda show. I finally got an episode of it out. It's kind of execrable because I didn't do great. But you know what? You don't get better if you don't ever do it. If I just stare at that katana or 22 rifle or whatever it is that I need to master the skill of. I just stare at it. I'm never going to get better at it. You have to actually do it. So, Tim, we hope you've enjoyed No Moral Theater, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, an Enigma Severus. Cartito. Enigma. He taught a class. Sorry I missed the chat. No, it's all good. It's all good. I've been so random and sporadic lately. Lame excuse inserted here. And now Enigma is out on summer. School's out for summer. Yes, Tim. We said one of the words. That may be why YouTube won't monetize me. I said the words. I said the words. Snug. Tim is a master of debate. Well, I'm glad you are. I seem to be a master of irritating the crap out of people. All right. I haven't said this in a while, so I'll say it here. It's been said that life is pain, and anyone trying to tell you otherwise is trying to sell you something. I am trying to sell you on something. I'm trying to sell you on the fact that Orange Man is bad, that the media is your best friend, and that the bigger the government and the bigger the corporation, the more you can trust them and everything that they say. And also, I want you to know that you are, in fact, not smart enough to run your own life. I'm the donkey Panda. You're too stupid to make your own decisions. Please rely on the government, the deep state, and the big corporations to tell you what to do, how to think, and how to live. And lastly of all, no, you're not going mad. You're going sane in a world gone mad. Enigma Severus, a master debater? Indeed. And Tim, that was the joke I was going for. But all right, the real saying is the reverse of everything I just said. But on the Donkey Panda, we live in bizarro world. Good is bad. Justice is injustice. War is peace. How does it go again? War is peace. Something or other, and ignorance is strength. Oh, wow. I never thought I'd forget that. Anyway, hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope I see some of you over there in Connie Cleary's community playing the movies. Have a wonderful evening.